Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back for what I believe we are at part 6. Sorry I keep saying that at the beginning, but it's hard for me to keep track. I'm not very good with my short-term memory, but this is the base guide series, Mayor Valley. Today we are going to go over Squelones Brewing Company. What is, or at least was in the past, more of a unique base. It's still unique in its own way, but it used to be far more unique until you could upgrade stills. And you will see why later in the video. This is a 6-man 1500 influence base, so it's bigger than the other ones that we've looked at. Maybe not as powerful as, say, Camp Kellenqua, but still quite powerful in its own right. So we will be going over it and figuring out how it stacks up. Now, I will go over the positioning. It is over by Mazzara, so that means it is pretty centrally located. Not quite as good as Mazzara, but still pretty good considering Mazzara is just a short drive through a field to the river and everything else, just like Mazzara. So it's not in a bad location. I prefer its location over pretty much all of the bases outside of, save, Mazzara. Like I said, it may not be as potent as Camp Kellenqua, especially since it takes more community members and more influence, and more community members means more food, which is yet another supply that you have to keep higher. But without further ado, as the sun rises, let's begin. So, the claiming point is right inside of here. I've already cleared everything out. And as I said, it is 1500 influence and 6 people. Squelones Brewing Company, a local brewery with functional stills and a well-appointed tap room. The whole place smells like hops, which probably tells us whether or not we want to live here. Now, it comes with a tasting room, provides a unique combination of morale boost and crafting options. It is quite unique in and of itself. I think it's pretty neat. Then it has 3 parking spots, so one more than we're used to, which is nice. But it's not that big a deal. Then it comes with not 1, but 2 stills. The primary still is a professional grade still array, allows us to convert food into fuel, ethanol, or beer, and to convert ethanol into fuel. The professional grade still array allows us to convert food into fuel, ethanol, or beer, and to convert ethanol into fuel. Has a particularly pleasing hoppy aroma. Then it comes with a water tank. Obviously, you're going to need one if you're going to have 2 stills, so I'm glad they at least put a water tank to kind of go with the stills. And then it comes with what's called keg cooperage. It is a hand tool based construction setup that speeds up facility builds, can be dismantled for materials. It is essentially a staging area that's already built in for when you claim it. And then it comes with a Brewer'S Notebook. Detailed notes found here allow our community access to actions that require knowledge of chemistry. So if you don't know, using the stills, you do need chemistry. That is a requirement. So with this base, you gain that requirement just by living here, which is quite handy in and of itself, so that you can actually use the stills. That would be quite frustrating if you couldn't. But let's go ahead and claim it. Alright, so here we are. We're all moved in. The sun is shining bright. And let's take a look at this base and the layout. So right here you have 2 parking spots, and then up here you have a 3rd one. So it is one of those weird bases with split parking. What I usually do is I will use this as just a storage vehicle. So if you have an ambulance or a van or anything of that sort, even a truck, you can park it there, and any overflow materials or just any resource that you have, just throw it in that van. Whenever you need it, you just run up to it, deposit it into your base, done. Then this is where I park my two primary vehicles. It comes with, we'll start up here at the top, comes with the water tank, as I said, and then your two stills. So right out of the gate, we can use all of these, and it gives +3 morale to everyone for purified drinking water. Now you can craft your fresh craft beers here, it's quite fantastic. And then you have the craft still, which gives you the knowledge of chemistry. It does the exact same thing, nothing any fancier than that, just gives you the chemistry and another +3 morale for the hoppy aroma that it talked about. So you get a +6 for everyone on those two alone. Right here, this is clearable. It is, as I said, essentially a staging area. So we're going to go ahead and activate it for when we start building. Then you have your command center, plain Jane, same as normal, and your storage, also plain Jane, just like most of the bases. Not quite as useful as Mazzara or the police base, but it's storage. You can upgrade it. It's not that big a deal. Then we come to the tasting room. It is a strange blend between a kitchen and a lounge. So you can stock the taps, gives you 15 morale for 30 minutes, but you have to give up 3 of your fresh craft beers. That can be a little pricey for the 15 morale. I don't really care for it, but you can do it. Then you can schedule a break, just like in the lounge, +3 morale for 15 minutes, -1 labor for 7. That's an easy way if you need a quick boost in morale, just to get out of the negative for a minute while someone's in a fight, or whatever the case may be. You can craft Molotovs here, just like normal, and then you can do all of the basic kitchen things to produce food and snacks and coffee and energy drinks and all that good stuff. You can do here as well, and then enact rationing, but let's not do that. Now, for the stuff we can build, this has even more small slots. So here we have 5 customizable small slots. Now, that is also bearing in mind that we already have water and 2 stills. So we don't have to build stills, and we don't have to worry about water here, which is awesome. That'll clear up an outpost for water or a small slot for water, and we don't have to build stills. So we can literally build 5 different small items. So let's go ahead and start working on some of that. We will get a bunch of this stuff built indoors, just like so. And we still have enough people, and everything should build fast. So the difference between this one and the other ones is, since we don't have to worry about stills, we can build kind of whatever we want. So we'll go with what makes the sense. We'll build a shooting range. That'll give us some stamina. Why not? And then you have this last slot that you're going to be able to build. Now you can put an array of things here. You can put a kitchen if you're into that, but you don't need it because you already have the tasting room. So the kitchen is not necessary. You can put outdoor beds. There is a morale penalty because they're outdoors. If you have characters that like to sleep outdoors, that's no big deal. You can put it in there. The morale loss will be handled, especially if you have a white noise machine. That will eliminate all of the problems and still give you a boost in morale. You can go ahead and build a garden, just because it will give you some more food, and you will need that food for the stills to make good influence. We don't need another still, so we'll ignore that. You could put a latrine if you need quick morale, but not really worth it. Don't waste your time on the generator. Why? Just get an outpost. If you don't want to, then go ahead, put the generator. It's not going to be the end of the world. I've just never really liked them personally. I would much rather get an outpost to do it, but you build it how you want to build it. And then there's a watchtower. It'll enable armed guards and reduce threat. Same as any other watchtower. It's like the fortified bleachers at, oh man, brain fart, Whitney Field, or the checkpoint at the police station. And then if you have these items from the Red Talon, which I haven't really gone over very much, you can put these in here and it would make it even more ridiculous. So you could put the bunk room, the workshop, and the officer quarters all inside. I mean, really, you could leave the infirmary and put the workshop and the officers' quarters inside, or take the infirmary outside and put the bunk room. And you can turn this into a ridiculous base. I mean, that would just make it OP enough. And then you can put your infirmary and your fighting gym outside, give you that infirmary to make sure you have your healing items, and the fighting gym, you get more health. And then you've got just a jacked base. That makes it ridiculously powerful. Now for the large, as usual, it's the same old affair. It's 2 large slots. You can do the same combinations. You can do the field hospital and run the double primary care with your infirmary. Or you can just not build an infirmary if you prefer to do so. And you can do a shooting range, a fighting gym, and put the you can do shooting range and fighting gym and still have all 3 of your Red Talon prefabs in here. So that would clear up a spot so you can get the 20 health, 20 stamina, and still have somewhere to heal your characters and make cures and so on. I'm, as usual, going to stick with my meta. I am not going to give up on it. And for this small slot, I think, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to build this, upgrade it, take the morale drop. We'll look at how much morale we lose based on people sleeping outside, and then we'll plug in a white noise machine and see what happens from there. Whilst that's working, we will start our walk around. That is not a door. And that is. So we will start right up here at the primary entrance. Oh, hello, Mr. Juggernaut. We might deal with you in a minute for fun. So your primary entrance is right off the road. You come around and you park up here. This is where your 2 main parking slots are. Most of this you can't climb over, but you do, as usual, have little spots by the doors where they can climb, but they usually just bang on the door because they're zombies and they're not very smart. Same thing right here. Again, they usually just bang on the door. They're a bunch of zombies. Then this whole side is covered up. You've got this slot to climb, but as I keep saying, they like banging on doors. Just throw fire at it. Then you've got literally all of this is covered up to right here at the door. Here's your 3rd parking spot over here by the standalone shop, I guess, where they park their materials. You can see the water tank right there. Then you've got over here by the tractor trailer. Not much they can do with any of that. And then we're back. I saw this is done, so let's go ahead and build it up one more time. And whilst it's building, we'll also put our infirmary upgrading. Now, this base, when under siege, isn't super difficult to deal with. I'm trying to remember. I felt like I could climb on top of this, but I guess not. But the easiest way to deal with it is literally just going to be standing right about here. Check that door. That's where they can jump. And then you have that door. Yes, they will come from back here, but as they round that corner, you can just blast them. There's no problems with any of that. Then this back door over there, it's back behind the building. They will just come around either that corner, which is easy to see, or over by that door where you're going to be watching anyways. So again, not a big deal. Easily defensible. So we have good location, easily defensible, and it has more small slots than you can really use, in my opinion. But, you know, that's just kind of my thoughts on the whole scenario. Now, we will go ahead and... No, I don't have any labor, so I can't. But this is the basic layout that I would do. Just, it's so simple to do. Yeah, so we also take a maintenance debuff on that as well. We will lose 1 material per day for the outdoor beds. So, I'm thinking, even for the morale, I don't think it's worth it. I mean, yes, if we put a white noise machine, we would gain 7 more morale than we're losing per person, plus the other 7 morale in beds, because we have no empty beds, so we would not lose 7 morale, so we'd be flat. And then 10 times 3 would be 30, so we would gain 27 more morale out of this, which would probably put us very close to the upper echelon of it. That's going to take forever. Never mind. I don't want to lose materials stereotypically, especially in a lethal zone playthrough. I would not want to lose the materials because I am going to tear this down. I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to tear it down. I'm going to put a lounge there. I'm just waiting for, well, I don't know what I'm waiting for. Let's just go ahead and dismantle it, and it will also give us 8 materials, which would allow us to build probably the lounge for free, which is quite handy. Now, what is the purpose of coming to a base like this after going to, say, Camp Kellenquaw? It's not really much of one. I mean, if you're in Camp Kellenquaw, you might as well ride it out until you either beat this map or you decide you want to go to Whitney Field. Because the difference between these two is just uniqueness. This one has all the beds you could use. It has all the basic stuff that you need. It has plenty of small slots to do what you need to finish the game. This one does not have the beds that you would need, but it does have, obviously, more than enough slots to do what you need to do. And then on top of that, you can build up your influence by using those. So it's more of a game of, do you want influence or do you want to just kind of sit in Camp Kellenquaw where you have all the beds you need, you don't have any wasted space, you don't need the materials to build it up nearly as much, so you can focus more on your other resources and stockpiling enough stuff to create the explosives and such that you're going to need. I mean, it's a catch-22. I've played both ways. I do genuinely like Squelones because I like the still aspect of the game, because I do enjoy the economy of the game. It is very underrated in my opinion. It is very fun to craft things and sell things and loot valuables and sell valuables and then have to go around and talk to all of my different allies to try and get the stuff that I actually need. And then on top of that, you get cool bonuses from your allies that are also underrated. Like right here, the hard noses, I have relay service. It means my cooldowns are reduced. It's awesome. Oh no. There we go. And then over here, I have the explorers. They have stamina and cardio XP. It's useless to me now, but it was very useful when I got them in the very beginning of the game. Then I've got true survivors. They have nothing yet. Now I've got recycling expertise, so that means I get parts. And then who else do I have? I have one more. There they are. The Adventurer's Bed and Breakfast. One of my favorites. Beds and food. It's part of the reason why I don't have nearly as much bed problems, is because I get a +2 from them just by having them. So, I mean, they are extremely useful, and this base in particular will allow you to kind of maximize how useful having those allies are. So I guess let's rank it out. So far, I would say, coming out of Clarington, your best bet would be Camp Kellenquaw if you're wanting to go fairly quickly. I still haven't gotten these idiots out of the church. I'm about to work on that and see what I can do. But we'll just ignore the church because I've only gone to it once. I didn't particularly like it. I actually moved out of it and to, I believe it was Camp Kellenquaw. I moved out of it very, very quickly because I just didn't like it very much. I didn't like the layout. I didn't like how sieges worked, anything like that. But we will go over that in a separate episode because I digress once again. But coming out of Clarington, I would either go Camp Kellenquaw if you want to get there a little bit quicker, or Squelones. Again, it depends on your preference. I tend to lean more towards, if I'm just doing a playthrough to beat the game, Camp Kellenquaw. But if I want to kind of prolong it and try to enjoy my stay in the game, I do like Squelones because it lets me take advantage of the economy because of those craft stills. And it lets me just build up all of the influence that I need to do anything that I really want, including move down here to Whitney Field, where it costs a ton to get in, but you'll get that ton a lot easier with those stills than with the extra beds, if that makes sense. So I would say it is a catch-22 between those two. It depends more on your playstyle. Like I said, for my long play styles, I much prefer Squelones. For my quicker, trying to build power and power only, Camp Kellenquaw all the way. I don't usually mess with Mazzara. I don't usually go to the police station either. I come straight out of Clarington to either one of those two bases. And that's how I would rank them. I would rank them fairly equally. Some might disapprove of that or might disagree. Everyone, we have our opinions on how to play it, but that's how I typically play it. But, I mean, that's all I can really think to say about Squelones. I mean, it is an awesome base. It's a unique base. It's very easily defensible. It has a good location. Whilst it does cost more than some of the smaller bases, you do get a little bit more for your money, almost to the point of where you don't know what to do with it when it comes to the small slots. But you get those stills and the water. You don't have to worry about building either of those or getting a outpost for water. It just comes built into it. And the outpost costs like 1,000 for water. So that's something to think about as well. But, like I said, that's all I can think to say about Squelones, really. It is a pretty neat base, super unique. and it's one of the better bases. I do believe this map is loaded with good bases. That's why I enjoy it so much. If you have anything else to add, any questions, any emotional outbursts, anything like that, leave me a comment below, along with any suggestions for videos that you'd like to see. Drop it in a comment. I'd rather get to it sooner rather than later. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button so that I can continue making this sort of content for you. If I get enough likes and people tell me they enjoy this content, I will continue on to other maps. Who knows, maybe we'll hit the base guides for every base on the map. Notwithstanding this silly church with these stupid idiots that are just sitting there, you bunch of Garfunkel dummy heads, getting on my nerves. I digress once again. I tend to do that. I appreciate everyone and all your time and listening to my ramblings. I'm the ADHD Gamer, and I will see y'all in the next episode.